Alright, hey everyone, I'm going to be recording this too. Just want to make sure that my mic is on. Yeah, I think we're good this time. Oh. Okay, there we go. First stream, so figuring out the technical stuff. It's going to be dropped into VODs and uploaded to YouTube too, so I'll do a little intro. I'm Aaron Suduko. I'm the founder of With the Terrible Fate. Been studying and analyzing video games for the better part of a decade at this point, and really have been in love with them as a storytelling medium for pretty much all my life, really starting with Tales of Symphonia in many ways. This was the game that got me into video game stories before I even knew that JRPG was a thing or a genre or anything like that. And since I've started studying the philosophy of video game stories quasi-professionally in the last decade, I've really stayed away from the Tales series in general just because it's been so close to my heart. I was concerned I wouldn't be able to put words to it, but given that Bandai Namco has finally remastered this particular masterpiece, I felt like it was a good time to go back all of over 10 years later since the last time I played it. I played it into the ground when I was a kid. Way too many playthroughs. But it's not fresh anymore, and I've played many, many JRPGs since then, and I've spent the better part of last year living inside of Xenoblade Chronicles, which is in some ways kind of similar and in some ways not. So really excited to dive back into this. Going to be accompanying it with weekly articles studying all kinds of Tales games, really just looking at the storytelling through the ages and reflecting on what it's done to me as a gamer, what I think it's done for the medium. So I hope you enjoy those. I hope you enjoy playing along with me. I'm so stoked to get back into this game. So enough of the preamble, let's do it. I'll tell you, the time to get up and running for this versus the GameCube game was something. Like, you didn't have to download any files onto your GameCube back when you were booting that up. Hi, Chrissy. Oh, I'm so glad you're watching. That's sweet of you. Yeah, I was talking to myself before you came in, and I actually said the plan is that I'm going to have them all as videos on demand for as long as Twitch lets me keep them, which I think is 2 weeks, but I'm also going to upload them all to YouTube, so you should be able to watch them asynchronously if you want to. Let's do default settings.
Once upon a time, there existed a giant tree that was the source of mana. A war, however, caused this tree to wither away, and a hero's life was sacrificed in order to take its place. Grieving over the loss, the goddess disappeared unto the heavens. The goddess left the angels with this edict. You must wake me, for if I should sleep, the world shall be destroyed. The angels bore the chosen one, who headed towards the tower that reached up unto the heavens. And that marked the beginning of the regeneration of the world.
Oh man, this already feels so different. After so many JRPGs in between now and when I first played
Lloyd
it.
Irving, wake up.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Lloyd!
To this day, I still don't understand why it starts out with him holding 2 buckets.
Ah! How do you manage to sleep standing?
Oh, Professor Rain, is class over?
Never mind. Let's have someone else answer the question. Genus, how about you?
Yes, Rain. Mythos the hero brought about the end of the ancient war in the holy ground of Karlan.
Correct. Afterwards, Mythos the hero formed a pact with the goddess Martel to seal away the Desians whom caused the war.
But the Desians came back and are now causing everyone to suffer.
We covered that in class last time, remember? When the seal weakens, the Desians reappear, just like they have now.
Yeah, I knew that. I just forgot.
Today is the day of prophecy. It is a very important day, which the Chosen of Mana will receive an oracle from the goddess Martel. Now, Chosen One, Colette.
Yes, ma'am?
Tell us about the journey of world regeneration.
It is a journey to seal the Desians. Upon passing the trials of the goddess Martel, the summoned spirits that protect the world awaken, and mana is restored.
Correct. I suppose we should expect the Chosen herself to know the answer to that one.
It really is like if there were a Jesus school for Jesus as he was getting ready to go out and do his thing. It's an interesting setup even for a JRPG.
Mana depletion is the cause of the current food shortages and droughts. It is said that this occurs because the Desians consume vast amounts of mana in their human ranches. The Chosen's journey has two purposes: to revive mana, as well as defeat the Desians. Now, for the next question.
What was that?
That's...
Settle down. It would seem that the time for the oracle has come. I will go and check on the chapel. Everyone stay here and study on your own. Understood?
Professor! I'll go with you.
No, Colette. If it is the oracle, the priests will come here for you. Wait here with everyone else.
Yes, ma'am.
So interesting too, the way different JRPGs start out with their cutscenes. Like, I've forgotten how the intro to this one is really just like the origin myth of the world. I feel like being dropped into it through that versus the background of the characters or who's going to be in your party or anything like that really kind of puts you on a par with Lloyd, I guess, as much as anyone, as he's figuring out what this whole world is about and what his place in it is. So I don't think I said this at the top, but I'm going to try to do the playthrough with no spoilers as best as possible. We can just talk about stuff as we go through it, because as I've been getting ready to do this whole Tales of Praxis thing, I've come across a lot of people who said that they were interested in the Tales JRPGs, but never really got around to them or felt intimidated by them, so if you want to see this as an accessible way into it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. There are a lot of good twists and turns. Listen, if you don't have to disobey someone in the first 5 minutes of a video game, are you really playing it at all? Speaking of connections between Xenoblade, you've got the Dwarven Vows here, and you've got the Salvager's Code in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Hadn't even thought of that. Awesome. It's such a fun experience for me to go back to these old ones too. I was playing Tales of the Abyss before this, which is probably the first thing I'm going to write about. And it's such a different experience where so much of the text is just written but not voiced, as we even see here, versus all the modern JRPGs where virtually everything is voiced. It makes it feel much more like a mashup almost between what you get in a video game and what you get in something like a novel. It feels more literary sometimes. Iselia. Alright, here we go. And that save notification audio is forever burned in my mind from the first times I played this. Wild monster ambush becomes part of the trial.
There!
That was easy. I know I always make the mistake of cranking the difficulty level on Tales games right away, because I am who I am and I guess I'm a masochist, and I don't think it'll be that hard. But then it finds a way of getting me at some point, so maybe we can just focus on the story for the moment. Surprise!
All right, let's go.
I didn't like real list of everything that they changed or tweaked for the remaster, but I will say this feels smoother than I remember it. Because even when I was playing as a kid, I remember especially like what they do with the 3D coordination, where you can move along more than one axis in combat. That was always kind of hard for me to manage. I felt like it wasn't perfectly tuned at the time, but it feels more fluid now for whatever that's worth. But we're not going to have any allies who are in trouble, because we're on normal setting. Nah, we'll push it up to Manic or whatever by the time we get going, I'm sure. I will talk myself into it, or one of you will talk me into it. Hey, I'll tell you though, I mean, maybe we'll get into other Tales games while we're playing through this. I'm sure we will, because how could we not? Like, GameCube version of Tales of Symphonia, still better controls in my opinion than the sequel on the Wii. Hard to do JRPG controls on the Wii. The amorphous blob field monsters. I don't know if this is the only game that does those with amorphous blob field monsters where they don't bear any correspondence to the actual monsters that you fight once you run into them. But it struck me as rare because even like a couple years later when you get Tales of the Abyss, they have it that the monsters on the field are representative of the ones you're going to fight once you touch them. But here it's like shadowy mystery boxes, you don't know what you're going to get. Motel Temple! Oh man, dude, I gotta say, even as a gamer, like, I don't often have experiences of pure nostalgia hits, but this is like OD on nostalgia in the best of ways. Not even new Tales games scratch this itch. None of us really knows what the Chosen is supposed to do yet, but I would love it if you could be a little more Chosen-like. This is my problem with games with these kinds of choices, because the deviant gamer in me always wants to do the choice I'm not supposed to do, like, oh, I'll just wait. But I'm already too committed to the story, and it feels wrong to do that. So, of course, we're going with it. This is maybe the one game where I got enough into it and replayed it enough times that I did try many of those other choice branches, just because. But in general, I don't replay a game that many times.
Where is the Chosen?
Run, Colette!
Lord Boda, there she is.
Chosen One, your life is mine.
I won't let you Desians get away with anything!
Desians?
What's so funny?
Well then, die at the hands of the Desians you so hate. Get them!
Let's get started! Get him!
Demon Fang! No! Demon
If
Fang!
I'm not playing the first game using Demon Fang, I'm not living.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
That's all.
You too.
There!
I get too into the fighting in these games, and then I get bad at managing health.
Do not get in our way.
Don't even try it.
No way!
Crush it.
Demon Fang!
Fireball! This guy's strong.
Man, this guy is really tough.
Ah, my man.
Who are you?
Get out of the way.
This fellow who just joined us, not gonna spoil anything, but it's a big reason I got so into video games. Just leave it at that.
Don't overdo it.
Demon Fang!
I'll crush you.
Don't even try it.
Demon Fang!
Don't overdo it.
Demon Fang!
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
Demon Fang!
It's like if you were fighting Smo and Ornstein didn't show up. And also you had 3 co-op people with you.
Don't overdo it.
It doesn't seem quite
Demon
fair.
Fang!
I'll crush you.
Don't overdo it.
Venus, why can't you do the backflip on
Don't
the
even try it. Damn, what a worthless weapon. Don't even try it. Can't
There it
believe
is.
I lost to a bunch of kids.
That's that. I never thought you'd show up. Damn! Retreat for now!
Amazing!
This guy's incredibly strong.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Is everyone all right? No one seems to be hurt.
Is that an X-Sphere?
How can I ever thank you for saving the Chosen?
I see. So this girl is the next Chosen.
That's right. I have to go accept the Oracle. Grandmother, I'm going to undergo the trial now.
What trial?
The monsters, I assume. An evil presence radiates from inside this chapel.
Yes, that is correct. The Chosen is to receive judgment from heaven, but the priests that were to accompany her fell at the hands of the Desians.
And I'll take on the job of protecting Colette.
Lloyd, I would be uneasy with just you.
Come on, he's got 2 swords.
Your name is Lloyd?
Yeah, but who are you to ask for my name?
I am Kratos, a mercenary. As long as you can pay me, I'll accept the job of guarding the Chosen.
Under the circumstances, I have little choice. Please be of service.
It's a deal, then.
This is why I played this a million times before I ever heard of God of War. So when everyone else came along, like years after, going Kratos this and Kratos that, I could not think my way into Kratos from Kratos. It's always Kratos to me in my head.
Wait, I'm going too.
Lloyd, you'll only get in the way. Be a good boy and wait here.
What did you say?
Did I not make myself clear? You're a burden. Go home.
Mr. Kratos? Would it be okay to take Lloyd along too?
But...
Please. I get nervous when Lloyd's not around.
do as you wish.
Let's go, Genus.
What? I'm going too?
Of course.
This isn't a field trip, you know.
No, it's more fun than a
Thanks,
field trip.
Colette.
It's the truth.
Well, I mean, if the shoe fits. What's that actually do? Good way of bringing in a tutorial system.
Go all out.
Hey, demons!
Demon Fang!
Really clever.
Like that? Hey, Demon Fang!
Work it. Demon Fang.
Hey! No way!
Never had a chance.
This battle music, too, just lives rent-free in my head forever. One of the things I think a lot about with these Tales games is the different rates at which they introduce like very complicated fantasy and sci-fi worlds to you. But I think in the grander scheme of Tales games and JRPGs, Tales of Symphonia is, I would say, on the more accessible end. I mean, what, we're like 30 minutes into the game and we have like Chosen One, we have Desians, we have X-Spheres, Human Ranches. Really not very much. The mention of a pact with the goddess, but it's not like we have, 5 tiers of magic and there were 5 families across 10,000 years to learn inside of an hour, which is oftentimes the case.
There!
Give me even just one more art to use, please.
Don't let up!
Don't overdo it.
Watch this!
There it is.
Sonic
Master music.
Work.
Back up to
Demon Fang. Work.
Demon Fang! Sonic Thrust! Demon!
Dwarven vow number 7.
Justice and love will always win.
Oh, I hate that saying.
the text for the conversations after battle is new. I like that though.
This is a dangerous situation. Don't overdo it.
It's so funny you mentioned that. Is it the word Symphonia in the title? Because literally, with no connection besides the fact that I was going to be playing this, another buddy of mine asked me about Eternal Sonata earlier today. No, I haven't played it, but I've heard enough good things about it to really want to. So I should probably put it higher on my list. I guess that one, more so than Tales of Symphonia, has to do pretty overtly with music in its storytelling, which is really interesting to me. Like I mentioned earlier, I just finished a replay of Tales of the Abyss. It's funny because you would think that the one named Symphonia would be the most musical of the Tales JRPGs, but Tales of the Abyss is like its whole world is grounded in the idea of music and sound in really interesting ways. So but I'm there for that. I think that's a really interesting way to create a world.
Here comes more of them.
Don't overdo it.
Demon Fang!
100%. No, actually, I didn't mention
Don't
this, but
overdo it.
at least for like one stream this week and maybe one this coming week, I have a friend who's coming to town for like half a week or so, and she's not super into this kind of game, but I'm going to try to get her to co-op it with me, because these four characters, like, you know, you can plug in and play couch co-op with it, which is one of the things that I really liked about these games back in the day. Kind of a lost art in JRPGs, I think, these days. I can't think of that many that still do that. But yeah, 100%. I think anytime you have the opportunity to do co-op, especially in a story-based game where it affords you the option of co-op, like, why would you not do that? I mean, even something like a Dark Souls or a Miyazaki game, right? I mean, a lot of people say they're there for the challenge, and like sometimes I am, but it's just a whole other world when you do a co-op with your friends and work through everything as a journey you're going on together. Not that one's better than the other, but I really have done a lot of good bonding with my friends over conquering those bosses.
Never had a chance.
Yeah, are you talking about the monster or Lloyd? Because, my Carlos, I could be a little better. Okay, at least they gave me 2 life bottles. That's something. I'm going to try to be marginally better with health management. Why is my sprite Colette? There we go. Okay. I know, and like all the companies got together and decided, like, let's just prioritize online play and get rid of couch co-op, which really bums me out. Like, I can't tell you the number of games, even just in the last couple of months, that I've wanted to play with someone, and it's like, oh, unless we have 2 consoles in 2 separate, like, sound-sealed rooms, it's impossible for us to play together, even though we're physically in the same place and both would love to play this game. Like, That's a little silly to me. I forget whether Bandai Namco kept going with co-op in these, because I remember trying to figure it out for Tales of Arise, which came out 2 years ago. Because, well, Chrissy, since you're here, you know Dan. Dan and I were thinking of playing that together because we both played the campaign. And we couldn't figure out how to do it, so I was worried that they phased that out too. But I need to go back and double check, because I feel like sometimes they just bury those systems too, for whatever reason. I would make it even more of a selling point when it's, you know, going so out of style elsewhere. Fireball! Yeah, there we go. Now you're cooking with gas.
We can do it!
Nope! Demon Fang! Take this! Sonic Thrust!
I learned it before you, Kratos.
Sonic Thrust!
Demon Fang! Just as I expected.
Really like the grade battle system. I think just because I grew up with it from Tales of Symphonia onwards, in terms of giving you like a numerical value in your performance after battle, but I don't know, man. I could also see it causing some performance anxiety, especially in games then where you go into it and you don't have that as like a metric for how you're doing. You gotta know how you think I did. Sometimes I can't tell. So that's another series where, like, really want to get into it. I've tried it more than once, but maybe we're diagnosing the problem right now. Maybe that's part of why I could never really get into it. And it's like, maybe this is how some people feel about the Tales games too,
to be the top floor.
Long-running series, because there are so many of those at this point. I feel like that tells me
thing there must be
I
the
ought to
Crucis
get
crystal.
into it. But it also tells me there's like so much homework or work to get into it, so I'm very much of two minds of starting projects like that, because it feels like homework a little bit.
That's right. They say I was born with that in my hand.
Look at that light!
What is that?
An angel, I would assume.
I think I got more religion from this game growing up than my family and upbringing, if I'm being honest. But I'm okay with that.
So, is that Colette's real father?
I am Remiel. I am an angel of judgment. The time has come to awaken the goddess Martel, who sleeps at the center of the world.
Awaken the goddess Martel. It's just like the legend Rain told us about.
From this moment, Colette becomes the chosen of regeneration. we of Crucius bless this event, and hereby bestow the Tower of Salvation upon Silverant.
Now, I remember as a kid even playing this game, like, literally, you can't exaggerate it, at least like 10 or 15 times. I still had questions outstanding about the story, just because it is one of those stories that gets complicated, so we're going to try to see if we can answer any of those old questions as we go through this playthrough of the remaster.
So that's
as well.
the Tower of Salvation.
See if being like a decade older and having other people watching helps to solve any of those puzzles.
Now the world will be saved!
Colette, the chosen of regeneration.
I humbly accept this task.
You know, I didn't want to say anything, but I was noticing the same thing.
Very good. We of Crucius shall grant you the power of the angels with each seal you unlock.
But I don't know, I might, as we get into the story, I might fight you on that, because I could see how some of the voice acting might also be performative with an eye to the story. It's also like, this is a decent powerhouse cast of voice actors. I was actually just thinking, you know, Rain opens the story in her classroom, and I have been watching way too much of Agretzko, and her VA is one of the main characters in that too, Washimi. So they got chops.
Once you are reborn as an angel, this eroded world shall be regenerated.
Thank you. I swear on my life I will regenerate the world.
First, head south to the Seal of Fire. Offer your prayers in that distant land.
Yes, Lord Remiel. Oh, wait! Please wait! I have a question I wish to ask of you. Are you really my
First, head to the Seal of Fire. Understood, my beloved daughter Colette?
Father! So you really are my true father.
We shall meet again at the next seal, my daughter.
I don't think she's in the shot. Well, you might be able to see her tiny nose, but there's a small corgi who is very interested in watching me play, and I don't think quite understands it, so I'm having to split my attention. Hey, listen, I will go to bat to convince you of anything video game related any day, so challenge accepted. It's a long game, so they got time to change your mind. In fact, as much as I was complaining that they had to download a lot of data before the disc version of this game would run, I was reminded quickly thereafter that it was actually 2 discs on the GameCube. So they've done some consolidation of data, to be sure. No, it's all the original stuff. I think that's part of why, like, when we're running the skits and all the dialogue like this, it's still not voiced, because I don't think they updated really any of the voices. I don't know if you ever went in for the original animation of the Teen Titans, but if memory serves, I think it does because he sounds the same. Lloyd's voice actor, whose name I'm blanking on right now, also voiced Robin in that first run of Teen Titans. I like him a lot too, I think he has chops. That was one of the things that was hard for me to get into about the sequel to this, which I don't think is a spoiler because it's the fact of the matter that that's a game that's out there. But they changed some of the voice actors from the original to that one, so that's the kind of thing where it can be a bigger barrier to entry. You know, I can't vouch for any of the newer content in Teen Titans, because that's one that they've kept going with kind of ad infinitum, right? Like, I think they've done another animation and a live action at this point. But the OG Teen Titans, it's like OG SpongeBob or any of those old cartoons. Like, I don't know if it's nostalgia glasses or if the writing was just better, but like the Slade arc in that, especially. And the villain who was like a magician or something, some kind of weird hack. Like, I have many fond memories of that show. Terra? Oh, it's all coming back to me now. This is what we're quickly discovering. Replaying Tales of Symphonia is gonna, like, unlock that whole part of my childhood. And it's gonna come pouring back into my conscious mind. I remembered that was coming. I do not believe it has aged super well. The real question is the karate kick in the face better or worse than the spanking? It's interesting. My dad did this big pilgrimage that terminated in Rome last year, and so I visited him for a weekend there at the end of his pilgrimage, and it kind of strikes me as the same vibe. Like, it's a really interesting world they set up here, where like the religion and the scripture and sort of the telling of what will come to pass is all deeply related to this town, but they kind of sit in this weird tension where they're on the outside of it, and like Rain was saying, they're not always even allowed into these sacred places. Rome felt a little like that. You know, it's a very vibrant and alive city with all this stuff going on, but the Vatican's right next door, and there's just all of these different like religious and historical dimensions to it that sort of exist next to but not as a part of normal society for them. At least that's what it felt like to me as an outsider. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I don't know. I like that games are sort of a playground for playing around with those sort of like religious city and nation state concepts, though. Like, remember, I think I even tweeted about this at the time. Like, I went there for that Rome visit, like right after I played Elden Ring, which is, I mean, all about religion, 8 Ways to Sunday, right? And it was really interesting thinking about like Catholicism and the Holy Roman Empire and everything like that in the wake of seeing that really interesting and a pretty sophisticated fictionalized version of something similar. This is a good ad for why it's like, valuable to replay these games from your deep past too, because like, I know I said I just played Tales of the Abyss, and in my head, like I played both of those as a kid, this and that, and I had them lumped together, I think just because they were both games from the same series that I really liked. Like, I think they're both standouts in the series. But they are not much like each other at all in terms of the story that they want to tell or the world that they build or even their characters. But you really don't see that, I think, until you're older, if you play them right after each other, but it's nice to just refresh my memory on what the actual content is every now and then. That's a good question. I know that a lot of the same people have worked on a lot of them. You get at least overlaps in terms of the artists and the voice actors, and I think some of the designers. I don't know about like the director level, like the conceptual people. But I know there has been more than one team. For instance, one of my favorite anecdotes, which I think is true, but again, like I heard this years ago at this point, so I can't really vouch for it. I'm pretty sure that Tales of the Abyss was developed at the same time as this other one called Tales of Legendia, which I couldn't get into to save my life. And so like my working theory, which I think I read a little bit about and was corroborated, was that basically one team was working on Abyss while the other one was working on Legendia, and so they kind of had, at least it seemed to me, their A team on one and the maybe not so A team on the other. But yeah, I don't know how many people have been there like all the way through or what their tenure has been. I mean, it's been going since '95. That was the first one, Tales of Fantasia, for the, I think, Super Famicom back in 1995. So it's pretty much just got the kind of longevity as something like a Final Fantasy, just far fewer people have really heard of it and engaged it. I don't think a lot of them penetrate like the North American markets outside of Japan as much. Like I was looking even when I was getting ready to stream this, and all the streamers in terms of like the most recent broadcasts are from Japan. This, I think, Tales of Symphonia was one of the ones that sort of did a better job of making it to the West. But even this, it's like a lot of gamers have heard of it, at least in the West, but I don't think a lot of them have actually played it. But I don't know, I think nowadays people are more aware of publishers and devs than they used to be, like back when this came out, I would say at least. And with the power that Bandai Namco has now, especially with stuff like Elden Ring and all the DBZ games and everything they're doing, maybe this, like the remastering that they're doing now of the series will kind of cause a renaissance of it. I would be up for that. Genus, if I want to go into your house, you just have to let me into your house. I was trying to find a shop so I could buy items and not die in battle. Ah, there it is. Third time's the charm. The beginning of the game when you have to actually be judicious about the amount of money you have. That's fine.
Then, we shall entrust the protection of the Chosen to Kratos and Rain.
Reminds me a little of Aerith's house in Midgar in Final Fantasy VII. If anyone's keeping score on their JRPG bingo sheet.
I have no objections.
Thank you so much for your help earlier.
Oh, you're back. Thank you for your assistance earlier. Please accept this small thanks.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Phaedra. Say, were you talking about the world regeneration journey just now?
Yes.
Wow! I want to go too! I want to see Colette regenerate the world.
Golden Sun! Oh man, you're calling out all the games I need to play that have been on my list for like literally years. Yeah, Adam Bierstadt, a buddy of mine who analyzes for the site now and again, he always rants and raves about Golden Sun. I know, it's embarrassing. I come off as though I've played every game in the world. I haven't. I have many gaps. But I try to play into the ground those things that I do play. Like, you know, maybe he hasn't played Golden Sun, but he's played, like, literally thousands of hours of Xenoblade, so when they're handing out awards for that, he'll be first in line? I don't know. Validate me. Tell me that that was worthwhile, at least.
If Rain is going, I want to go too.
No, you'll get in the way.
What?
There it is.
Battles
Thank
at the
you.
chapel were nothing compared to the journey that
I know
awaits
you mean
us.
it too.
Children need to stay home.
Kratos is absolutely right. Now then, we still have things to discuss. You two should go on home.
Please wait.
I think he's one of those philosophers that people, like, try to give an air of scariness to make him less accessible than he actually is. So I'm really glad to hear you say that. I think you just need kind of a way in, because there's so much of him, and a lot of him is hard to make sense of out of context. I think that's the challenge, which is like ironic because so much of what he's talking about in his later life is context, right? But yeah, that bio I picked up of his by Ray Monk, that's it's like way too detailed for most use cases, but if you want any kind of way in that, you know, really makes him super accessible, it's a great read. And just a good story. I mean, he led a really interesting life.
It's not like it's your fault.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Listen! Never mind.
Oh yeah! Happy birthday, Colette! I baked you some cookies.
Good.
If I knew you'd be leaving tomorrow, I would have made something a little more special, but...
No, I love your cookies. Thank you very much.
So what about you, Lloyd? You promised to make her a necklace, right? Don't tell me you forgot.
It's almost done. I'll give it to you tomorrow before you leave.
I did not remember or internalize as a kid, like, what a flake Lloyd is. It's kind of giving me a new, I don't know if I want to say appreciation or perspective on his character. One or the other.
Really, I'm so happy. As soon as I find out when we're leaving, I'll go to your house to let you know.
Isn't it going to be dangerous?
I'm the Chosen, remember? I'll be fine. See you later then.
Liar.
If I start on it now, I'll finish it in time.
Oh, really? Well, whatever. By the way, you're going home now, right? Can I go part of the way with you?
Sure, but where are you going to go?
I'm going to see a friend.
Huh? I didn't know you had friends outside the village besides me.
Does it matter? Anyway, can we swing by my house? So I can get my stuff?
Oh, now you want to go to your house. Oh, big man is going to let me into his house now. That's not his house. Yeah, you're telling me. I will say, I don't know what it is about certain gaming systems, but like, every Tales game since my first, which was Tales of Symphonia, has tried to get me into cooking, and I guess maybe it succeeded in getting me into cooking in real life because I cook a lot for myself and I appreciate that cooking. But cooking in games, like, it just, I don't want to say it rubs me the wrong way, but it's just a hard system for me to buy into. Like, even with something radically different than this, like I played Pokemon Violet last year, right? And such a surprisingly large part of that game, surprising to me at least, was the like picnic making mechanic where you like make sandwiches for your Pokemon and like beef up their stats and, you know, get perks for catching Pokemon and stuff like that. And I tried making a sandwich exactly once. And then I said to myself, this is not worth my time. I'm not going to do this. I think I cooked more than the average bear in Tales of Arise, though. I'd have to go back and see, but I feel like they did something to make it more intuitive or accessible. No-ish! They picked a different mythical creature character from this for the Steelbook case, which is also very lovable and cute, but I kinda wish it could have been this mythical dog. Yeah, and a lot of people love cooking in Breath of the Wild, but for me it's the same thing. It's like opportunity cost, right? Like I could be sitting at a campfire trying to figure out food and crap, or I could be out climbing a mountain or figuring out the next shrine, or I was going to say hunting Korok seeds, but I don't want to do that either. So I guess it is kind of fun in Breath of the Wild though, because you can pick up basically anything in the world and throw it in a pot, so it's much more multi-dimensional and flexible than a system like this where you just have like set recipes and ingredient lists and it's a little more contrived. But different kind of world, so it makes more sense in that context. Yeah, agreed. Who knows, we got Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe it'll be perfected and maximally efficient for that. Can't believe how soon that's coming. Yeah, I'm excited too. Sir, that is not a dog. Alright, Northwest Forest. Having a dog now for myself, I have a new appreciation for how skittish poor No-ish is. My little one is pretty similar.
You're going down! Get him!
Ah, come on.
Demon Fang!
Makes
Demon Fang! No way!
Get him!
It's
Fireball!
the free run option. Maybe I can't do it.
No way!
Get him! Fireball!
Demon Fang!
Fireball!
You picked the wrong guy to mess with. Alright, let's go!
Get him! Fireball!
Demon Fang! Sonic Rush!
Get him!
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Why buy what you can get for free?
You're going down! Get him! Doom blast!
There! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Oh, that's an interesting question.
You picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Boy, that's a really interesting question. You know, I think Wrath of the White Witch was a few years later than this, if I remember. So it's still... Yeah, you get a lot of the same mechanic of running and chasing enemies. I think there's like just a higher influx of random encounters to manage in Tales games. Like I haven't noticed it that much in Symphonia yet, but I noticed it a lot in Tales of the Abyss. Like it was super heavy on random encounters at the base level. With something like Wrath of the White Witch, it's a little bit different just in terms of the random encounters are also opportunities to build your party, because it's a gacha game like Pokemon, right, where your enemies can become friends, and that's kind of the whole conceit of the story, right? So it feels different in that way. And I don't remember if they manage enemy frequency in the same way. One of the things that the Tales games do is they always have what are called holy bottles and dark bottles, which can change the encounter rate. So if you want to fight even more enemies, or if you want to reduce the number of enemies, it's pretty easy to tweak the encounter rate. So it's pretty customizable in that way. I was thinking more in terms of just like the architecture of the overworld in terms of size and how far apart things are. I remember the Symphonia overworld, like we saw in even just these first few screens, as pretty easy to navigate and not too much to keep track of, especially within the broader corpus of Tales games. Something like Wrath of the White Witch definitely feels more spread out. Like, again, I certainly wouldn't call it open world, but you get more regions, you get more like cross-travel between them, things like that, in my memory of that. But even Wrath of the White Witch, I mean, geez, I played that, what, like 3 or 4 years ago now? And I played the sequel of it, so it's kind of even further back in my mind. Okay, well, I have to ask you to elaborate on that because Grace's is far and away one of my favorites. So what was the barrier for you?
Stop slacking off, swine!
Wow. Interesting. How far into it did you get? Like, do you have a sense of how many hours?
Marble!
How far into the story?
Genus! Is that your friend?
Yeah, I'm Lloyd.
I am pleased to meet you.
Marble, did you see it? There was an oracle!
Yes, I did. I saw the Tower of Salvation. Now the Chosen's journey of regeneration can finally begin.
Yeah, I only ask because this isn't really a spoiler for Tales of Graces, I don't think. But it has a structure similar to Ocarina of Time in terms of there's a longer than you would expect childhood sequence, which is really just preamble to the main game. It's kind of later in life for the main characters. So it's one where it could make a difference. I will say, and we'll probably even see this in Symphonia, I mean, it's a good example of it, because remastered, but still, look at the visuals and kind of the graphical quality. I think, for me, it stands out as a series that tells really interesting and complicated but compelling stories through portraits of pretty interesting and well-motivated characters that have compelling relationships with one another. I don't think I've ever picked one up and been like, oh man, yeah, this has killer graphics or is really on the higher end of really detailed world building. I don't think that's the register that it operates in most of the time. Even something like Tales of Arise, right, which was by all accounts a modern JRPG, but if you were looking for graphics, that probably wouldn't be where you settled for a game.
I hope it is successful this time.
The last Chosen failed, right?
Yes, I heard the Chosen was killed by Desians during the journey.
But hey, if this stream can get you to at least give it a second look, or give any of these a second look, I will consider it a success. Ah, there you go, back on the list. Yes. Mission accomplished. Now I don't even have to continue with this game. No, I'm playing.
I wonder if Colette will be alright.
Let us pray to Martel. May she guide the Chosen on a safe journey.
Huh? Hey, Gramps.
Her name's Marble.
Marble, isn't that an X-sphere?
Oh, is that what this is called? They placed it on me shortly after I came here.
Yeah, that's definitely an X-sphere, but there's no key crest on it.
Okay, now we have key crest. The world's getting a little more complicated. But step by step. I mean, we're, an hour 15 minutes in now,
An
so...
X-sphere without a key crest is dangerous.
More gradual than it could be, and oftentimes is.
What's a key crest? And how is it dangerous?
Attaching an X-sphere directly to your skin supposedly makes you sick. But ironically, it's useless unless you attach it directly onto the skin. So, in order to prevent it from making you sick, you carve a spell into a special ore and use that as a mount for the X-sphere. That's the key crest.
You're very knowledgeable.
But it looks like Marble's X-sphere doesn't have a mount at all.
Nope, doesn't look like it. If the charm was the only thing needed, I could carve one myself, but there's nothing I can do without the inhibitor ore that acts as the mount.
There has to be something you can do, Lloyd.
It's not as easy as you think. Key crests are dwarven technology.
Your dad's a dwarf. Please ask him for help, Lloyd.
Fine. I'll ask him.
All right. That's why I like you, Lloyd.
Lloyd is really put out doing the minimal effort to help this person in a literal human ranch.
Please don't trouble yourself.
Hey, old hag! What the hell you doing over there?
Wonder if they would brand that the same way if they were developing this game now. I mean...
Oh no.
We'll see where it goes in the story, but... Interesting motif to see what, for all intents and purposes, I would consider a concentration camp in a video game world.
Hurry!
But who knows what they may do to her?
I know that, but what can we do? If the Desians find out we're here, just think about what they'll do to Marble and the people of the village.
That's right. You must go.
I'm sorry,
That's one of the things where I wish my buddy Dan were here co-oping this with me. I'll have to shout him out on Twitter or something, because he has the whole
What are you doing over here?
Japanese studies background, and it'd be really interesting to think about, okay, a game like this, with these themes, and this kind of prison encampment thing that is created where people are treated as subhuman, how does that resonate, if at all, with the specifically Japanese experience of World War II? I don't know the answer to that, but
who said you could
be
slack
very
off?
interested to get someone's
back to
opinion
work.
on it.
I'm sorry.
What's with that look, huh?
Looks like someone's got an attitude problem.
No, of course not.
Shut up! You two, take her to the back! We're gonna give her a little lesson on respect.
You know, I might have to invite him to join in.
Yeah.
It's too bad when it has to all be virtual, because not the same as couch co-op, but I'll bend his ear and we'll see if we can work something out. 'Cause yeah, he always has something interesting to say about the Japanese games I play.
This doesn't look good.
Unsurprisingly.
They're taking her to the back.
But what can we do?
There's gotta be something we can do. Let's find higher ground where we can see what's going on in there.
I remember, so I mean, the first times I was playing this, it was like late elementary school into primary school, so I was young, right? Or elementary school into middle school, I should say, and then high school after that. But I was living with my folks, and so I'd be playing in the living room because I didn't really have like my own space with a good TV at that point.
It looks like we can go up from here.
I remember at one point I was playing and they came by and one of the like enemies was cussing out one of the characters and said like "damn it" or something, and they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that you know, you're playing a game with that kind of language." And I mean, I didn't have the wherewithal at that age to tell them this, but in a game where you literally have like human ranches, or again like a close analog for concentration camps, to call out the word "damn it," like forest for the trees, right? How to see the forest for the trees. It's got to be hard being a parent.
We've got to save her.
That's interesting too, like the corporal punishment we see here in the ranch, like right after Rain was kind of similarly punishing in the temple with Genus and Lloyd.
But how?
I never made that connection growing up.
You attack the Desians from here with magic.
A lot of sort of normalized, socialized violence in the opening
hours.
hours.
Are we gonna get in trouble?
We don't have a choice. Afterwards, hide among the bushes and make your way back to the village. I'll act as the decoy.
But that'll put you in danger.
Don't worry. I'll head down the cliff so they don't see my face. Then I'll run in the opposite direction from the village.
Okay. You should replenish your energy before we do this. I've got some leftover cookies from the ones I gave to Colette. Here, have some.
Sometimes you don't know what sticks in your head as a gamer, or why it sticks in your head, but that sequence of Genus, like, refilling your health with his homemade cookies, much more wholesome than you get in many video games. Like, that stuck with me from the very first time I played this game.
Open the main gate!
Wish I could have my health refilled with cookies more often, man.
Are you all right, Marble?
Quickly, come this way!
Genus, Lloyd, thank you.
What was that?
Uh-oh.
You little brat!
One job, dude. You had one job.
Let's go all out.
Don't get
Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Sonic Demon Fang! Just as I expected.
Lloyd, they saw your face. I'm sorry, it's all my fault.
Don't worry about it.
But...
I took out the ones that saw my face, and the rest of them are still back up on the cliff. As long as we hurry up and get out of here, they'll never know.
Oh, okay.
Ever the confident one, Lloyd. What's the worst that could happen?
Just do my homework for me, okay?
Okay.
All right then. I'm gonna head on home. You should head back to the village.
Lloyd, thanks for helping Marble.
Hey, that's what friends are for, right?
Analyze the data from the gate surveillance system.
Yes, sir!
How did a mere human make that kind of jump?
All right, let's go! Take! Take! Demon Fang! No way!
I dodged into that. Fine, man.
Just as I expected.
Playing on stream, the pressure. I'm choking. Let's get home. Or we hunt for treasure. It's amazing what a pull muscle memory has too. Like I have already felt in the first few stages, like the less I think about this, the easier it is for me to navigate to the next place, because my body just knows it. Creepy. Yes, Noish is adorable, but not a dog. It can be a good thing to have those kinds of games, because that's almost how I feel about Dark Souls 2. Well, Dark Souls TOO, but I guess also Dark Souls 2 when I'm feeling really masochistic. It's like almost more of a fidget spinner or a mode of meditation than a game at this point, just because like I know all the paces of it so well. I just kind of zone out and let my body do its thing. It can be very cleansing.
Welcome back.
Hi, Dad. Say, is there any chance you could make me a key crest?
Why do you need a key crest all of a sudden?
I met someone today who has an X-Sphere without a key crest. An X-Sphere without a key crest is bad for you, right? Or wait, don't tell me that it's too late once you've attached an X-Sphere without a key crest to your body.
One of my biggest pet peeves on voice acting, we were talking about voice acting earlier, this is not the voice actor's fault, but when a line is bridged across two text boxes, so it like interrupts the voicing.
Nah, not at all. But even removing an X-Sphere that lacks a key crest is dangerous.
You don't get that so much anymore, but I noticed it on Tales of the Abyss too. I think it's a pretty common thing with older JRPGs.
So, the only thing to do is...
Speaking of, what's the only thing? Press X to find out.
Make an accessory out of inhibitor ore and carve the charm into that, making it into the key crest instead.
Huh. And then it'll be okay, huh? Then could you make me a bracelet as soon as possible?
Just a minute. The X-Sphere with no key crest that you're talking about. Who has it?
Huh? A traveler? A traveling mercenary.
Baloney. X-spheres are basically only used by Desians. If he took one from a Desian, it should already have a key crest on it.
Well?
Dwarven vow number 11. Lying is the first step to the path of thievery.
You haven't even had the call to adventure yet, Lloyd, and you're already lying to your old
Tell
man.
me the truth. Why do you need a key crest?
I met someone at the ranch today who had an X-sphere equipped without a key crest.
You went to the ranch?
I'm sorry. A bunch of stuff happened and...
You didn't let the Desian see your X-sphere, did you?
No, don't worry, I made sure. But why is it so important to hide this thing? The mercenary that came to the village today wore his right out in the open.
Your X-sphere is special.
Special? Is it different from the ones the Desians have equipped?
That X-sphere is your mother's keepsake. The Desians killed your mother in order to take it from her.
They did?
I told you about how I found you at the cliff near the ranch, right? Your mother was still conscious at that time, so she explained everything. There's no doubt about it.
Why didn't you ever tell me?
If I had, you'd have run out and tried to take revenge on the Desians. The Tower of Salvation appeared today. Just leave the rest to Colette. Let her take care of the Desians, too.
But still...
Don't get involved with the Desians. Your mother protected you and that X-sphere with her life. Don't go throwing either away.
So will you make me the key crest?
Boy, have you been listening at all?
What a way to make someone feel powerless too, right? Oh, by the way, like, this is all the horrible stuff put upon your mom and the reason she died. But also, you're not the chosen one, so don't try to do anything about it. Just wait and let it sort itself out.
Yeah, I heard you. But you can't expect me not to do anything now that I know. You don't have to hit me!
Again, we have number 3.
Oh, let me guess. You heard that just now?
I'm sorry. Because of me, you...
It's okay. It's not your fault.
Lloyd, you should go speak to Colette. We'll wait here.
Okay.
Lloyd, let's go up to the terrace.
Can I talk with the others if I say just a minute?
Just a minute.
Okay, I'll be waiting on the bench.
It's a good question. I feel like they've gotten better in modern JRPGs at stating the age of characters. I think sometimes they will say in like the status thing for Tales games. I don't think so. I think there is a canonical age they're all supposed to be. My guess is probably like 16 or 17 for Lloyd in this cohort. I think they're all kind of around that, like, late teens age range. But yeah, especially with someone like Lloyd, I mean, it's an interesting exercise to keep track of what these characters know throughout the games. Like, even about themselves, they do not start out knowing very much. Like, think about what Lloyd has just learned about his own past, right? His own history. And so in that sense, they're kind of actively growing up just through this journey and realizing there's a lot that they didn't even have a chance to process that's kind of defined who they are. Oh, man.
sorry for not finishing your birthday present in time.
It's okay. Don't worry about that.
But this sort of thing is special because you get it on your birthday, you know?
Well then, will you just wish me a happy birthday?
Of course. Happy birthday.
Thanks. I'm glad I was able to live to this day.
What are you talking about? You're going to keep on living and regenerate the world.
Yeah.
So, about tomorrow. I can't come along with you, can I?
Well, it's just that the Desians will be after us, and it's gonna be a dangerous journey.
Desians. Up till now, I always thought my mom died in an accident. But she was murdered by Desians. Now that I know the truth, there's no way that I could keep living in a village that has a treaty with them.
Yeah. We're leaving tomorrow at noon. So would you come to the village around then?
Okay, you got it. Now I'll be able to see you become an angel with my own eyes.
Yeah. So Lord Remiel really is my father. I'm the child of an angel.
Does it matter? Regardless of who your real father is, you're still you. Nothing's changed. You just have two fathers. Just think of yourself as being lucky for having more than most people do.
I suppose you're right.
World regeneration, huh? It's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Releasing the seals, becoming an angel. Then finally...
Finally?
Nothing.
Don't worry about it. It won't come up again.
Anyway, if we go to the Seal of Fire, I'll get to see my father again. I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, me too.
Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm coming. See you later, Lloyd.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Goodbye.
This is interesting too. You have your main character focus here with Lloyd set up as this kind of like unwelcome protector. Like he clearly wants to go with the group and be part of the party, but he doesn't really get admission in the way that others do. Can't think off the top of my head of a lot of games that try to set up their main character in that way, especially JRPGs with the party focus. That is the text.
Dad, about yesterday, I just...
Here. That's the key crest you wanted. You can use it however you like. Just remember, I did try to stop you.
Dad, thanks!
Dwarven vow number 2. Never abandon someone in need. I'm just going along with the teachings.
Dad, I'm going on a journey. I'm going to help Colette regenerate the world so that I can avenge my mom.
Vengeance, always the best reason for world regeneration.
I figured you were going to say that. Take this with you. We've put together some things you'll need for your trip.
So you're forgiving me?
Yeah, but remember, this is your home. You're still my son, regardless of blood. Come back here anytime you're tired.
I will. Wish me luck.
Lloyd, don't ever forget Dwarven vow number 7.
Goodness and love will always win, right? Man, that's such a cheesy line for anyone to be saying these days. Don't worry, I won't forget it. Let's go, Noish. It's time to regenerate the world. Huh? What are you doing here?
Lloyd, you're still here?
Genus! Good timing. I got my dad to make Marble's key crest.
That's great and all. What about seeing Colette off?
Oh yeah, about that. I've decided to join her.
Are you stupid or something? Colette and the others left a long time ago.
What?
I came looking for you because you never showed up.
You've got to be kidding me.
Lloyd, go to the village, now.
Yeah, come on, come on!
Ha! Camus! I would know that tag anywhere. Yeah, man, I started. And we're kicking it old school. This is, like, I said this at the top of the stream, but this was really, like, the game that got me into video games as stories, right? I saw it in a Blockbuster as a kid because that's how old I am and how old this game was. And I was just fascinated by the box. I had to try it out, had to play it, and it's like, bam, I didn't know games could do that. Completely changed my perspective on them. And now we get the chance to change all our perspectives all over again.
Dear Lloyd, by the time you read this, I will have already left on my journey. I'm sorry for lying to you. The world regeneration journey is full of peril. Many Chosens have failed. I care about you too deeply to let you get involved. I'm gonna do my best to stop the monsters and the Desians. So I want you to live a happy and peaceful life in the regenerated world. Thank you so much for your friendship and kindness all these years. I'm really lucky to have met you. Farewell, Colette.
Saved by the bell. Don't worry, it won't come up again. This is really like, I don't know if this is because I encountered it as a kid and it left such an impression on me, or something about the quality of the way that the designs act, but even like in Tales of Arise, which is much more recent and in some ways visceral, right? You get so many different portraits of authoritarianism and dystopianism and just all the bad isms that people can do in order to control and govern a society. But somehow the image of what the designs do in this game to me is worse and just haunts me more. Speaking of.
You're going down!
Demon Fang!
Don't follow me!
Demon Fang!
Go back!
Demon Fang!
Inferior!
No, Demon Fang!
I don't know if it counts as a call to action unless you have a way of putting it out. I don't know that Genus knows water-based magic yet. You would hope. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's that in a game like Tales of Arise, you have the ability to basically, like, save all the kingdoms and right all the wrongs, whereas you stand in front of this fucking burning building, like, can't do shit about it. That is a little haunting, I think.
Lloyd Irving, come forth!
This is worse than being called to the front of the class.
You've come to attack the village again? I've had enough of this!
What are you talking about?
He speaks nonsense, ignore him. Listen up, inferior beings. I am Forcestus, one of the 5 Desian Grand Cardinals. I am a superior half-elf who rules over the farm where we cultivate you pathetic humans.
Half-elf?
Lloyd, you, a human, have been found guilty for the crime of violating the non-aggression treaty. Therefore, I bring judgment upon you and this village.
You violated the treaty too. You tried to murder the Chosen.
Us? Kill the Chosen? I see now. They must be after the Chosen.
They? Are you saying you aren't the ones that attacked Colette?
I have no need to explain myself to the likes of you. The only thing that matters is that you, Lloyd Irving, have been in contact with host body F-192 and attacked our guards.
What have you done? How many times have we told you to stay away from the ranch?
I'm sorry.
We've prepared an appropriate opponent for your crime.
What is that thing?
Now, receive your punishment.
Damn!
Boy, I'll help too. Let's get this over with.
Demon Fang!
Get him!
Demon Fang! Take!
Get him! Stone
Demon Fang!
Get him!
Take!
Stone
Demon Fang! No way!
Get him!
Take!
Stone
Take!
With Final Fantasy 13, do you mean like the Seath? The Seath? I forget the term for it. Like the people who fail to fulfill their oaths and are turned into monsters.
Get him! Fireball!
I definitely see that. Yeah, I see the Silent Hill also. This might also be part of why the fire and whole destruction of the town is so impactful and haunting to me. Like, it's not just the physical destruction, but a lot of it is paired with, you know, the monstrous. In ways that are really gonna screw us up once we get there, fam. It's never just a monster, is it?
Demon Fang!
Get him! Stone
Take! Demon Fang! No way! There!
Here!
Take!
Get him! Fireball!
No way! Take! Demon Fang!
Get him!
There it is.
Just as I expected.
Genus, you're not looking too hot, bro.
Lord Forcestus, just as you thought, that boy has an X-Spear.
It must be the one from the Angelus project that we've been searching for.
Got another term, Angelus Project.
Give it to me.
Building up. Now we're what, like 2 hours in?
No! This
It's
is
gradual.
a memento of my mom's.
I will
who you
defend that claim.
Desians murdered!
What are you talking about? Your mother was...
Run away, Genus, Lloyd.
It's never just a monster.
Well, what was that voice? It sounded like marble.
It can't be.
Get away! Hurry! Genus, you were like a grandson to me. Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh yeah, with the, like, sort of abnormal body articulation. I see that. That's a good catch.
No! Protect Lord Persistus!
Lloyd, we will always come after you as long as you possess that X-Sphere. Always.
Marble? Marble! No!
What have you done? Look what happened to our village. It's all your fault.
Okay, so we were talking about how the visuals are not, you know, like super duper mega HD, like OLED designed next gen visuals, but I will say this about them, they do interesting things, like this whole color tint on the town when it's on fire. Like it almost looks more red than the gray of ash to me. It kind of gives me the vibe of like the fire, obviously, but mixed with a kind of like bloodiness. I think that's part of what makes it killing. And you mentioned Silent Hill before too. I feel like it gives it that sort of like otherworldly, nightmarish vibe while still keeping it grounded in its reality. You don't get a lot of those visuals in games.
I'm sorry.
You think you can fix this by apologizing? The Desians marked you as their enemy. As long as you are here, this village will never be at peace. Do you understand?
Wait a minute! You're going to exile him?
Yes.
That's not fair! Lloyd didn't do anything wrong! He just saved Marble!
Any involvement with the ranch is forbidden. There are no exceptions.
I mean, we brought our literal pitchforks, so we kind of have to run you out of town.
So it's okay to let people die at the human ranch as long as the village is safe?
The people at the ranch are just going to rot there anyway.
Yes. Had you not done something so stupid, they'd have been the only ones that died.
You humans are all the same.
That's enough, Genus. This was my fault. I'll leave.
Mayor, surely you don't have to be so strict on a child.
What are you saying? Do you realize how many people died here because of him?
It's not Lloyd's fault! I'm the one that took him to the ranch, so it's my fault!
But it's Lloyd the Desians are after. And besides, Lloyd isn't from this village to begin with. He's an outsider, raised by a dwarf.
Then I'm leaving too. I'm just as guilty as he is.
Genus.
Finally, by the rights vested in me as mayor, I hereby announce the banishment of Lloyd and Genus from the village of Iselia. Get out!
I'm sorry for causing you trouble.
If you feel that way, please catch up to the Chosen.
You get that interesting, like, anti-parallelism in the setup of the plot too, right? Where the Chosen and her cadre of bodyguards have gone off to save the world, and meanwhile Lloyd and Genus are getting exiled after this, the wake of devastation that they brought on the town.
If in doing so, the world is saved, surely everyone will change their minds about you.
I'm sure Colette would want that as well.
Yes. I will atone for what I've done. I swear to protect Colette, for the sake of those who have died because of me.
I'll follow you, Lloyd. It's my fault that you were banished. So I promise to stick by you always.
Say, Genus, why don't you use that X-Sphere? That's Marble's memento.
Okay.
I'll explain to you on how to use the Keycrest later. After all, looks like it's going to be a long journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's fair that the shop could be locked. But the gamer has to check. Now this is always amazing to me too, and I don't know if this is just like a story fictionalization thing, or if it's a testament to the power of kids. I guess I wouldn't know since I'm no longer quite the kid, but just how resilient, someone like Lloyd or Genus would be, where they're, kicked out of their home, in the place they grew up and where they know everyone, just banished to the four corners of the earth, and they pick up and do it, and we're off on this adventure. Some might say that's unbelievable, but I find it really kind of encouraging and heartening. I could see people doing things like that. There it is. It's a very good point. I actually don't. Are you asking rhetorically, or do you know the answer to that? Because I don't. My Lord of the Rings knowledge, speaking of gaps, is very wanting. Well, like 13, 14 maybe? They're roughly adolescent, right, in terms of their development cycles. Oh, like younger than that? Years. Yeah, so maybe these guys are younger than I thought too. I guess I'm aging everyone up. Maybe, like 15, 16. Okay. Yeah, no, I think I was about right, because if he was able to walk, he'd be a little developed. Yes. Yeah, there is a delay. Pretty big delay too, I think. I was testing this out the other day. Not sure how to fix that. Probably need heavier duty streamer tech than what I'm working with right now, which is a PS5 and a headset. Oh yeah. I remember this. I remember this because there's a point later in the game where just to navigate through a puzzle, it's the same way in the remake, I don't know if they changed it, you need to set a specific EX skill. And for the life of me as a kid, I couldn't figure that out. That was one of the very first times I needed to go to a game guide to figure out what the heck to do. Yeah, these are fun. This might be something new. I don't remember this. The fast travel? Oh, you can see more of the map. Maybe this wasn't the original game. I'm feeling old. I can't remember the like the mechanics of what was here or not. I remember pretty much all the story beats, but not the little things. You gotta try. Onward.
Don't let up!
Get him!
Demon Fang! No way! Hey, Demon Fang!
Get him! All right! Wind
Demon Fang!
Okay.
Hey! No way! Sonic Plus! Just as I expected.
Triet. Alright. I was gonna say, that's how you know you made it. Like, when you're famous enough to get wanted posters that have that caliber of a likeness of you. Oh man, you're in the big leagues now. Look out, Hollywood. Here comes Lloyd Irving. They found him immediately. Cats, a motif throughout the series. Although I think that kind of got supplanted in the more recent games by turtles, which is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of dressing up like cats, the people dress up like turtles. Why do designs exist? I don't think Genus believes that. Keep trying to rope me into cooking. I'll try it. When you say supposed to do the dialogue like this, do you mean without all of it being voiced? Oh, like the skits. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know the history of how or why it started. I think it's oftentimes just, it's kind of a way of making side content more cordoned off, because a lot of it is just either if you forget where you're going, like a lot of skits will remind you of where the next place you need to head to is, or just like little conversations that add flavor and relationship between the characters but don't really advance the plot as such. But if you play the more recent ones like Tales of Arise, or even I went back to Tales of Symphonia the other day, which is a few years older, like they still go all out for them, so I wouldn't say it was because of the technical burden per se. Like nowadays they're fully voiced and the character models are even more articulated in terms of the amount of them that they animate. But yeah, it's distinctive to the series. You don't see that kind of thing in many other JRPG series I can think of. Everybody's got a racket. Yes! I love fetch quests that get done automatically. Love it! Living the dream. Alright. Where is that oasis? Maybe I should find the actual shop. Are you a shop? Is that a collet-shaped hole? It's hard to tell. Something happened there. With it. Check down here. No, this isn't in though. Yeah, let's go through. That's not what you want. The resemblance is uncanny.
All right, let's go! Demon Fang!
Get him!
No, you!
Get him!
No, you!
No way!
This is also, I swear, I'm not going to compare Tales of Symphonia to Tales of the Abyss for this whole playthrough, simply because I just played Tales of the Abyss. But it is very hard going back to a two-person party with no arts after being at the end of a JRPG. When you're at all your arts and a tricked out party with great weapons and all that good shit. Talk about a learning curve. Venus, if you could stay alive for longer than 2 seconds, that would be awesome. Whoa.
You Demon Fang!
Take this!
Get him!
To inferior beings?
Keep working on it, okay?
You know, it's an interesting question. That's one of the things that I'm thinking about for this series that I'm doing, Tales of Praxis, because the whole conceit of the series and why I named it that is I want to think about the ways it calls the player to action. I think one of the things that is really interesting to me and kind of has inspired me to do this is that these are JRPGs where you don't have a lot of really obvious agency in the way that you do in games like I don't know, a Dishonored or a Bioshock or even The Witcher or something. It's much more subtle, and oftentimes their plots feel very linear. But I think they have a way of weaving together their stories and the choices that you are able to make in a way that makes you very finely attuned to your involvement in the plot and what your experience of the plot is doing to the world. Tales of the Abyss certainly does, and I remember Tales of Symphonia is similar. It's an interesting series because you get so invested in the characters, but I also don't think it's right to say, this is consistent with all the other shit I say, right? But I don't think it's right to say that you're role-playing as the characters, especially when they're also well-defined and oftentimes have motivations that have little nothing to do with what the player is interested in. So it's not so much an answer as just telling you what I'm interested in teasing out more over the course of this. But the first thing that I'm hoping to write this week on Tales of the Abyss, we'll talk about this a little bit more, I think. Fellow kinsman, plot thickens. Oh, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I am too. I'm a little intimidated by getting back into the weekly writing groove as opposed to, work on a single writing project for months and months and months. But I think it'll be fun to write some shorter reflections, especially on these games. I could talk forever about these games. Now that's what I call a good dog. Yeah, I'm interested in that too. I will say, and you'll probably even see this come out in the written work, like replaying Tales of the Abyss after, not even Xenoblade, but very recently playing through the whole Final Fantasy VII corpus for the lecture that I gave last year at PAX West. Like, that definitely got me seeing that game differently and thinking about just the relationship between player action and plot a little differently, because that game is really thoughtful about that. So I think there definitely will be some interesting influences to keep track of. I will admit, I love this music to death, but it is feeling a little more dated and like 16-bit to me than I remember. Might also because now I have better sound systems than when I was first playing it, even the headphones could be part of it. Get wrecked! If you didn't have the B-side, I could jump and had to go all the way back to the city now. But we took care of that already.
All right, let's go. No. Demon Fang. You picked the wrong guy to mess with.
That's not what you want to hear. You thought it was a JRPG, but it was a Zelda puzzle solver the whole time. I'm telling you though, much as I love the story in these games, some of the puzzles actually were hard for me as a kid. This is not an example of that, but I remember some toughies. Alright. Electric City. Oh, are you kidding me? That really bums me out. Let me target them. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And then they make it stay electrocuted for so long, so you just have to sit and appreciate your failure. Okay, that one's easier for some reason. Please don't mess up again. Why? Oh my god.
Alright, let's go! No way!
Aaron's getting mad.
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong guy to mess with. Reinforcement, no way!
You think I get this mad at this? Watch me play darts.
Just as I expected.
Alright, Savage. Why is this happening? I'm trapped in the most banal loop at the beginning of this game.
No way!
Getting dragged on my first stream ever. Guess it wouldn't be an authentic experience otherwise. No, I'm very bad. Can I get out of this loop, please? Thank you. Alright. It was spawning on the side that was near me, that's why. A randomly generated spawn point. Just what I need. Alright, I'm gonna try to get this prick first. Thank God! Oh, mama. I jinxed myself by saying this is not an example of a puzzle I would have trouble with. If I could fucking aim, I wouldn't. Alright, I can read the sarcasm in that message, but I appreciate the gesture all the same.
Alright, let's go! Demon Fang! No way! Demon Fang! Sonic Thrust! You picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Memory gem. Don't remember what those do. Ah, unseal save. Give me all your items. Ah, but alas, I am poor, and I cannot sell to the robot machine. Is it weird?
All right, let's go! Demon Fang! No way! Demon Down! No way!
You hate to see it.
Demon Fang! Just as I expected.
It's just bragging on my grade right now. I know, angles, no spare me. I'm just still having a hell of a time figuring out the right angle to position Lloyd to get the sorcerer's ring to shoot. No, the math ones are the worst for me too.
That was close.
Oh, the prison got beautiful all of a sudden.
And just who the hell are you?
That's not what you want. Don't even get me started with Blitzball. No,
Give me your name, and I shall give you mine.
Ha ha ha! You certainly have guts.
Imagine being a kid like this and being such an action hero that you already have catchphrases. I love it. I'm here for it.
I'm afraid I don't see the need to introduce myself to a miserable little creature like you.
What a coincidence. Because I don't see a need to introduce myself either to a moron who doesn't realize how pathetic he is. Why, you little...
What a burn.
An X-Sphere? You're... Lloyd?
And if I am?
I see the resemblance.
Sir, we've received reports that the Chosen's group has infiltrated the facility.
You're the Desian that attacked Iselia.
So you're Lloyd. Now this is amusing.
Boda, I'm leaving for now. Our plans will be ruined if he sees me.
What of the Chosen?
I'll leave that to you.
Understood.
Lloyd, the next time we meet, you're mine. Just you wait.
Lloyd, are you okay?
Listen, just you wait.
Are you alright? Are you hurt?
He looks fine.
You guys all came for me?
Perfect timing. I'll take care of everyone at once.
Get ready.
Ready for a real fight.
Order! Forgot we fought him this early.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
Demon Fang! No way!
See, suddenly when there are 4 of us, as opposed to 1, it becomes a little bit more manageable.
Don't overdo it.
Rock Breaker! Demon Fang! Rock Breaker! No way!
Demon Fang!
Thrust! No way!
Demon Fang!
Sonic Thrust! Rock Breaker! No way! Demon Fang!
Take this!
First aid! No way! Demon Fang! Rock Breaker!
Thrust!
Demon Fang!
Oh,
Rock Breaker! Pretty good!
that's not what you want.
Don't overdo it. First aid!
Take this!
Demon Fang! No way!
Don't overdo it. First aid!
Sonic Thrust! Demon Fang!
Don't overdo it.
Earthly
First aid!
Demon Fang!
Oh, that's helpful. So now that there's text in battle, it's easier to clock the incantations that they're doing for spells, so we can better read what's coming. I like that.
Underestimated your power.
There!
Aw, Genus didn't make it. Man, he's a glass cannon.
I underestimated your abilities.
Isn't this a...
Professor!
Oh, Lloyd. Genus told me what happened. I apologize for the trouble he's caused you.
No, I'm the one that dragged Genus into it. I'm sorry.
Save the chit-chat for later. We shouldn't stay here long.
You're right. I opened the escape route just now. Let's go.
And back to Triet. One of the things I love about this game too, I was thinking about, I'm sure we'll talk more about this as I go on, it's one of those few RPGs for me where every single character in the party throughout the game I have a really strong and distinct interest in and attachment to. Like oftentimes there's at least one character in a JRPG party that I won't really vibe with, but every one in this is so compelling to me. I'm really on the same wavelength with why they would want to go on this journey. You're really selling me on Golden Sun. Gonna have to pick it up. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Are you asleep?
Lloyd.
Well, could you not see those Z's, bro? Come on.
Huh?
It's universal language.
I'm sorry that Father, Grandmother, and I couldn't prevent your exile.
You dork. It's not your fault, so you don't need to worry about it. And besides, I'm the reason why the village was devastated.
For Marble's sake, and for the sake of the villagers that were killed, I'm going to do my best to regenerate the world.
Yeah. I'm sorry I woke you.
No, it's okay. Good night.
Thanks.
I'm gonna do my best for you too, Lloyd.
Professor, you're still awake.
Yes, I've been organizing the data we've collected about monsters. And what are you doing up at this hour?
I was fixing your key crest.
Thank you, but you mustn't overexert yourself. It's going to be a long journey after all. I don't mind if it takes a while to fix.
So, are you saying that it's okay for Genus and me to come along on this journey?
Wasn't that your intent from the beginning? Stop pretending.
Oh yeah, I fixed the key crest, so here, take it.
You fixed it already? Thank you, Lloyd. So this is an X-Sphere.
Ask Genus to show you how to use it.
Sure, he hears those Z's. Ah, you gotta wake him up. That's what best friends are for. Like the options you get for how to interact with folks, you mean? Go follow crows. Oh, interesting. Good catch. Yeah, I didn't clock that.
Whoa!
We'll have to pay attention to which ones they default.
Lloyd. I'm sorry to have startled you.
Startled isn't the word for it.
You'd best not stand behind me.
I won't. Do you like animals?
No, not particularly.
Well, Noah seems to be quite comfortable with you. He usually doesn't like strangers.
I once had a pet, long ago.
Really?
Lloyd.
What? What are you staring at me like that for?
Your swordsmanship is unrefined. You should focus a little more on eliminating your vulnerabilities. If you care about your life.
Crows, please, I'm just a baby.
Because he's a little better than me, he has to talk like he knows everything. Well, a lot better than me. Damn!
You gotta love it. Say thank you, and then go cry yourself to sleep. My best friend is doubting me. You think you're gonna get a different Rain when she joins the party and you go off on an adventure with her, but she is ever the school teacher. Signing homework, the whole 9 yards. To the ruins.
Ah, so hot. Man, I'm beat.
See? You're already worn out.
I'm sick of this desert. What's wrong, Noah?
Be on your guard. There are enemies about.
Let's begin the research. Get up!
Tate! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Get up! Fireball!
Demon
What
Fang!
the heck?
Tate! Sonic Thrust!
Why would you use a fireball?
Blame your fate.
Fire elemental creature. Genus. You're supposed to be smart, man.
This is going to be a nuisance.
What is?
Nothing. Anyway, it would be a good idea for you to learn techniques to protect yourself.
Are you talking talking about self-defense training?
Something like that. Techniques to raise your defense during battles. I'll show you how it's done. Once you grasp the theory, the rest should be easy.
Okay, I don't really get it, but I already feel stronger. I can't wait to try it out.
I think you're just imagining things.
What happened to Noish?
It is interesting. There are some techniques that you only
You're
learn
right,
through
he's
battle
gone.
after
Oh, man,
a
he's
certain
run off
amount of
again.
experience, or using a different art a certain number of times, and you unlock a new one. And then there are other arts like that you just can get conveyed to you on the spot by someone or something.
He's probably
I
nervous
feel
about
like
the
there should
monsters.
be a conceptual distinction between them, but I'm not really sure what would explain that.
I think it would be best not to count on Noish in places with monsters around.
It's so funny. Colette wasn't even in the party for the last fight. Why did that skit trigger?
Say, is this the seal? It has my family's crest on it.
Fantastic! Look at this slab covering the entrance. It's clearly of a different composition than the surrounding stone. Oh, it's just as I thought. This is polycarbonate, developed during the ancient war to defend against magic.
I partly worry and partly hope that this is how I come off when I start getting going about video games and talking about why they're so damn cool.
Oh, feel the smooth surface. It's wondrous.
This
She
game,
always like
too,
this?
is wondrous.
Is she?
I've been trying so hard to hide
Good
it,
looking
too.
out.
This depression, it reads Oracle Stone. Colette, place your hand here. That should reveal the entrance.
Really?
This stone is enchanted with magic designed to identify the Chosen. There's no question about it.
It opened. Wow. I guess I'm really the Chosen after all.
Yes, I think we all know that already.
Okay, now it's getting exciting. Let's hurry up and go inside.
I hope you'll be able to maintain that enthusiasm.
Oh no. Genus's doubt and Lloyd's enthusiasm is contagious. Love it. I gotta go into the actual stream shot. I missed your message. Oh, is it not going to tell me what your message was? I gotta figure out Twitch. Well, I saw half your message. It's nice of you to say it's admirable. I don't know, it's funny. I did a lot of theater growing up, and so the whole public speaking thing and just sort of expressing views and thoughts was just something that was sort of built into the type of stuff that I did. But nowadays, it's much less so that and more just, I love this stuff, but we say this at every PAX that we do, and it's right. Like, the thing I love most about it is really being able to like talk about it with other gamers who love it too, right? I think that's the value of the medium. It's so experientially driven, so everyone has a different experience with it. But games act as kind of a common meeting ground or lingua franca for different people to share their different experiences with it and experience a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts. So I really vibe off that energy. Public speaking in generally, not so much anymore. I can do it, but I really have to suck it up. But any venue to talk about games, whether it's the writing or the lecturing or the even something like this, different as it is, quite a lot of fun. Yeah, you should channel the sentiment. It's funny because it feels like common sense to me, but I think a lot of people don't think this way. Like, to me, really the best part about analyzing something is driving deeper to the heart of why you love it, and so it makes sense in my mind to connect like the study of video games with getting more in touch with your passion for it. But a lot of academics, I feel like they go the other way and try to like sanitize what they're saying or take the first-person experience out of it, or they feel as though they're not being as professional if they, really celebrate the thing that they're studying and talk about why they personally love it so much. And that just strikes me as totally backwards. I mean, why would you devote so much time to studying something if you didn't really care about it? Why would you not want to share those feelings with others?
Watch this!
Okay. Sword Rain is always one of my favorite skills. So now we might be able to actually get something going. Perfect.
Pretty good on my side. Sword Rain! Get up! Don't laugh! Keep working on it, okay?
A lot of blocks to push in Tales games. That is another interesting motif. Pretty much everyone I can think of. There's a whole, it might be generous to call it a side quest, but side activity in Tales of the Abyss where literally the entire conceit of it is you go around and you find people with really messy storehouses and you like have to push the crates in certain patterns around on the floor to kind of like clear the storehouse of all its goods. It's like a giant block pushing puzzle. But, I can't knock it because I did it.
Let's begin the research.
Don't overdo it.
Okay. Sword Rain!
Demon Fang!
Sword Rain!
Was quite enough of your follicles.
Are you okay?
Sword Rain!
First aid!
Are you okay?
First aid!
Not bad, am I?
I know the exact sequence you're talking about. It's funny, and you could do a whole study on this, like, how JRPG fans, like, think about and remember their favorite games, because, like, the story of Final Fantasy X, right, I mean, I'll get up there with everyone else and say it's, you know, one of the greatest stories ever told in the medium. I'm a huge fan of it.
Give them no
but
quarter.
as you point out, a lot of the actual gameplay in that game is pretty rough. And perhaps not memorable, or if it's memorable, not memorable in the best of lights. I don't know, I feel like even before modern examples like Bioshock, examples like that are pretty good ones of, like, you know, what everyone calls ludonarrative dissonance. Like, it just doesn't quite feel as though you get the same connection with the gameplay to the other narrative elements. This guy is way stronger than I remembered. I hope this doesn't end here. Might have to bag this.
Sorry.
Here, take this. First aid.
Oh, come on. He's struggling.
Don't overdo it.
Oh, come on, man.
Be careful. Don't overdo it.
No way.
Well, we might be screwed. Yeah, out of life bottles. That's unfortunate. Can I switch who I'm in control of? I don't think that's the right way to do it, though. Let's see. If I switch them to semi-auto, can I control them now? No. Well, we're gonna have to hope that these guys can see it through, because I'm gonna try to switch over to them now.
Don't bother me.
What?
We can make them heal themselves at least.
Aren't we clever? Take this. First aid. Don't overdo it. First.
Let's stop healing Genus. Come on.
Thanks. Here. Get him.
Forgive me. Work.
Well, that was a sad note to end on. But how's that for the old school failure screen? The story does end, just doesn't end how you want it to. Oh, was that really the last save? That's disappointing. Alright, well, I will work my way back from there. It's about 8 my time, the 3-hour mark. So yeah, I know. I might work my way back to where we were just off stream so that people don't have to suffer through my trials and tribulations again. But I will call that the end of day 1. My plan is to do it same time window, and I'll post on social to remind people, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the foreseeable future, except later this month when I have to, speaking of conventions, go off to PAX East to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you for watching. This was a lot of fun, and nice to have a familiar conversational partner with whom to hang out to. That's always good. But yeah, be back in a couple days, and excited to see where this goes. So cheers, and yeah, excited to see how the series unfolds too. Cheers. Yeah, see you next time. Hope you show up live. All right, everyone, I'm going to call it, and until next time.